Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber 93, I have brewed a combo deck around Forensic Gadgeteer. This is a card from Murders at Karlov Manor, 2 and a blue for a 2/3 Vidalcan Artificer Detective. Whenever you cast an artifact, investigate. That means make a clue token. And activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less. This can't reduce it to less than 1. The self-contained engine here is when you cast an artifact, you get a clue, and that clue costs 1 to sacrifice and draw a card. So it's kind of a card advantage engine here in just a normal artifact deck. But we're not just doing that. We've got Basalt Monolith. Add 3, then pay 3 to untap it. If you reduce the cost of the untap ability, it costs 2 to untap it, which means you have infinite colorless mana with Forensic Gadgeteer in play and a Basalt Monolith. From there, we just have to figure out what we're doing with all that, and what happens if we don't get those two things together. I have built it into a kind of hybrid of 8-cast shell and Mystic Forge combo shell. The manifold keys can untap the monoliths if you don't have a Gadgeteer going, and then you're actually making mana rather than just breaking even. One ring is a powerful thing to do with 4 mana, and also works with the keys. You can tap a ring more than once in a turn, digging your way towards your combo. Mystic Forge, most of this deck is artifact or colorless. Should be able to get some good shredding going with that. And if you have Mystic Forge plus Gadgeteer, each of these artifacts you cast off the top of your deck also makes a clue. That's a lot of artifacts. The big payout here is Karn the Great Creator, though. Karn is pretty much the easiest way to win a game if you have infinite colorless mana. You can basically do whatever you need for that situation by reaching into the sideboard, grab a Walking Ballista or a Mycosynth Lattice, depending on what the board looks like. Then the draw engine behind all that, Emery Lurker the Lock plus Thoughtcast, should look familiar from 8-cast strategies. Urza Saga, naturally in this deck, it can tutor Manifold Key, which is one of the more important cards in the deck, if we're not already infinite, and making constructs, while Forensic Gadgeteer doubles all your artifact count. When you cast them, you get an extra artifact. Constructs get huge pretty quick. Staff of Domination is fun. This is another way to use infinite mana if you don't have a Karn. This is basically infinite life and infinite card draw, and from there you should be able to figure out how to win the game. This is kind of a vestige of an earlier build I had with the Trophy Mage that could tutor Basalt Monolith or Staff of Domination, but that build didn't have Karn in it, and Karn is just way better than Trophy Mage. I'm still keeping the Staff because I think it's fun. Things of note about this deck. There's no Force of Wills. My original build had Force of Wills, but as the Karn ring forge thing built out in deck building, I realized I did not have the blue count to actually support that card. Then they moved to the sideboard, which you'll notice they're also still not. I decided to make it shovier, and that's when the One Ring and Mystic Forge added to the deck. It was kind of much more 8-casty in the original build, and now it's much closer to Mystic Forge combo. But it's still got a little bit of both in here. Hopefully it works out. This is 93's Forensic Gadgeteer combo. Let's do it. I'm on the play in round 1 with a hand that can do some gnarly Saga business. Or I could play Ancient Tomb, bobble twice, and hope to spike Karn. I'm going to lead on Saga here. Legacy is different than it was a year ago, but a year ago, playing a Saga on turn 1 and an Ancient Tomb on turn 2 would just win a lot of games. There's a lot of decks that just struggle with that. I think I'm going to bobble them once just to get a feel for what their deck is. See a Ponder. Okay. Ponder strategies. I mean, Ponder is in a lot of strategies, but if they are an Island Ponder Keep deck, the kind that I like to play, this Accelerated Urza Saga solo strat is... I am usually the one on the other side of this, like, oh no, please don't have Ancient Tomb. Scalding Tarn. Volcanic Island. Looks like Delver. Yep, Delver confirmed. Oh, you're something of a bobble gamer yourself. This is unfortunately a deck that will have Wasteland in it, a card that I am not super excited to play against with what I've got going on here. They're bobbling my top card, getting a draw. I will get at least one construct onto this board, though. Oh, sick. Now my construct will be 4/4. I was a little worried that I'd pop the bobble, not knowing that they were a Lightning Bolt deck yet, and that Lightning Bolt was able to clear my first construct, and then I'm just playing from behind. But we got there on a free artifact. They're casting Ponder before their land drop. They're highly incentivized to find a Wasteland here. They'd also like to get Delirium so they can attack, because I have a 4/4 that I can put in front of whatever they're up to. And then even if they find Wasteland, they have the interesting choice of, do they attack the Ancient Tomb, because Saga's going to die anyway, but then I still get a tutor? Or do they attack the Saga and leave me with the land that hurts me and no tutor? They did not shuffle. We're about to find out how they want to play this. Going after the Saga is their choice. I actually prefer that from my side of this game. I want the Ancient Tomb in my hand, please. They cannot attack here. Well, they can, but I'll block. Ottawar is cool. Seed of the Synod in for 5. They took their 5. I think I want to bobble once here. My creature still doesn't die to Lightning Bolt, and I get to keep moving things forward. They have another Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. Good to know. And bobbling now before, if they are Grixis, I don't really want Bowmaster to get online. They're brainstorming now, getting Delirium before their draw step. Right, they pondered last turn, so they knew their top card was Delver, and they know they don't want that, and they know it gives them Delirium. It's a lot of good stuff to know. Early builds of this deck had Chalice of the Void, and then I just added more and more to the combo, and eventually they went out of the deck, into the sideboard, back into the main, in and out like crazy, and I would like Chalice of the Void in this matchup in particular, though that doesn't mean I want it all the time. I'll take my 3. They did fetch black when I know they have a red card they could cast in their hand. Okay, they are prioritizing card velocity rather than damage on the board. They kept their Surveil, which means they're also going to keep their Ponder. It'd be weird to not Surveil and then shuffle. They did not shuffle, to the surprise of no one. Urza Saga, great draw. Happy to see that. I'm going to Thoughtcast first. Being Daze is a little annoying because it cost me 2 life. Okay, we got away with it. Not only got away with it, but I found a Mox Opal and another Thoughtcast. We're getting away with it in style. I am going to play the Saga at this point. I don't want to take 2 from Daze now that I'm just going off. 8 cast gaming. Holding on to this Aether Spellbomb in case the Murktide Regent comes my way in the future. Cool. Oh yeah, the Staff of Domination is here. How could they ever win? I'm not going to cast that into a Daze at the cost of 2 life though. Just going to bash for 6 and see what they want to do about it. And I'm not going to bobble into a potential Bowmaster here. I just like the size on my creature. Molten Collapse targeting my Construct token. Okay. That works, unfortunately. That was a huge upgrade to Grixis Delver from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Just kind of, I don't even know if it's fair to call it innocuous because everybody immediately identified it as goes in Grixis Delver, but it is, it has lived up to the hype. It's not sexy, but it does what it needs to do. Speaking of being sexy and doing what it needs to do, Thoughtcast. Okay, I'm going to Thoughtcast here. I can still bounce DRC and activate Saga. They've decided that's enough. Force pitching Daze, so they did have Daze last turn. Okay, the Force of Will on that. I know Dragon's Rage Channeler is in their hand. I could shove Karn here, and it's over the top of Daze. I don't think I need to do that, though. I can just bounce this DRC with Spellbomb and get back into Saga gaming. Ponder. And they are just dead on the backswing here. They're going to have to chump block or do something to stabilize. We know they have another DRC that they can jump with, but if they attack me to 9, and then they have to jump block, and then they attack me to 6, I guess I could get tempoed out by a double bolt. Shadow Spear is in my sideboard, not in the main. That is a card I would love to tutor here, but Soul Guide Lantern also plays on this board. Oh, if they attack, they're actually just dead because I have Spellbomb. Right. And they have to attack. Okay, yeah, I just take my 3, make a construct, untap, Spellbomb the 1 blocker, and we're off. Found the line. Not complicated at all. Combat math line. Orcish Bowmaster. If they go land Bowmaster, that's 2 blockers. That makes it a little more complicated. Okay. That was half of the thing that they needed. I'm going to save 2 life and just not tap Ancient Tomb here. Make my construct elsewhere. Draw for turn, another Seat of the Synod. Just going to try to win this game without tapping Ancient Tomb. They're fetching in response. Oh, they're just playing around Pithing Needle. That was not going to be my play. Bolt the Construct. Ooh, if they double bolt Construct here, just to not die, that's a lot of cards for me. There's one bolt. And I can't flash in any artifacts here. Okay, yeah, double bolting the Construct just to live another turn. I like that for me. And I can get Soul Guide Lantern here, and then make their graveyard Irrel. There are a lot of cards in this graveyard of 5 different types. I'm just going to go after Molten Collapse. I think it's mostly all the same. And I'm going to play Seat of the Synod. And I will just pass here. Because if they have to attack, I'd rather Soul Guide Lantern during combat, exile their graveyard, get a block. If they play Murktide pre-combat to make that not a thing, they're still on chump blocking duty, and I still have Aether Spellbomb. Just playing the patience game over here. If they have Stifle, that could be annoying. Alright, exile each opponent's graveyard in the attack step. Those are gone. Chomp. Dragon's Rage Channeler, the one we've known about forever, and they scooped it up. Cool. Okay, now we have to worry about Meltdown. That is a card that they're going to have after board. Thinking about Defense Grid, thinking about Flusterstorm, thinking about Dismember. The artifacts in the sideboard are pretty much a Karn board and will rarely come in or out of the deck. Staff of Domination, too cute here. I have a feeling we're going to board that out a lot. It might belong in the sideboard anyway for Karn, but if we could wish for that, we could just wish for Ballista. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. Shaving an Opal is usually fine. It is a legendary permanent you don't want too many copies of. I like the One Ring. Mystic Forge is kind of a clunker. I can wish for it if I need it. The defense grid's awkward because if it's not for this matchup, what's it for? And I guess the answer to that is blue-white or blue-green base control decks. Because if they're trying to engage with me with meltdowns, defense grid doesn't help me with that. In fact, it hurts me from fighting back against that if I bring in the Flusters. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go Fluster, Dismember, and still mostly just try to send it because that's how I built the deck. This hand is not going to be kept. Also, first game in the books, undefeated, didn't even look at a Gadgeteer or a Basalt Monolith in the entire game. I think this hand is too bad to keep. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this one is more like it. I'm going to keep this and bottom... I wonder if it's actually Karn or Monolith that I'm supposed to get rid of here. Probably Karn. Karn can do stuff on his own. Monolith helps set up. I'm going to get rid of the Karn. Just for mana efficiency's sake. My hand is going to be soft to Wasteland no matter what I do here. I'd love to draw another 0 mana artifact. Even a Seat of the Synod will do. There we go. Otawara, Bauble. I can at least play Emery here. They could daze her, but I can play her. At least begin these exchanges. Start getting them. They did daze. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't Thoughtcast even if I keep these artifacts. I am just going to cash them in for cards. They have a Dragon's Rage Channeler on top of their deck and a Brazen Borrower in their hand. Okay, let's go. Petal and Bauble. More zeros. I can cast Thoughtcast this turn. I have to use my Lotus Petal to do it. Another 0 would be great. Oh, okay. There's that one. Saga, Petal, Bauble. I could play the Monolith and just be ready to ring next turn. Or I could sack Lotus Petal to draw 2 cards. I'm going to play the Monolith and try to get set up here. A confusing and concerning card if you're my opponent who thinks I'm playing Acast. They could just play a land and Brazen Borrow. This would be a huge beating. I mean, Daze is a huge beating too. Now the best thing I can do is draw a land to get Saga going. They have Brainstorm on top of their deck. Alright, let's go. They have Dazed me twice, but that also means they have no lands in play at the start of turn 3. Volcanic Island is not Wasteland. That's the card I was most worried about. Fire the Brainstorm immediately. In the market for a land. Mana, please. This deck might be misspelt a little bit. I put what is mostly the 8-cast mana base into what is mostly the ring combo deck. Thoughtcast helps. Emery helps. But also, like, I don't have the full boat of soul lands I could be playing to power out 1 rings in board states like this. Taking 1 and draw for turn. We did it. I am in extra trouble to a Meltdown now that that was the land that I drew, but I'm not going to complain about any land here. Now they have to respect Saga before the game moves forward at all. And this means a Bowmaster can't just pick off my first Saga token for free, because it arrives as a 2-2. Oh, Murktide Rege. Okay. The race is on. And I know they have Brazen Borrower, which makes racing kind of tricky. Well, depending on what I draw, I might have to skip a construct. Ooh, okay. I think it is more important to put the One Ring on the stack here. I float a colorless, get Mox Opal, and that's 4. What happens if I Thoughtcast here? Oh, that costs too much. Never mind. All right. Going for it. Big sends. Moment of truth. Don't have a daze. Force Pitching Delver. All right, at least it costs 2 cards. Still feels bad. And the Brazen Borrower can turn off Metalcraft. Yeah, I'm in trouble. And maybe the Defense Grid should be in, and then I take out the Flusters and just add Defense Grid. On the play, it'll be better as well. Show me the Meltdown. Let's get out of here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was ready to die to Brazen Borrower. That's so much worse. Okay, Defense Grid in, Flusterstorm out, and I am just going to try to jam on him. Okay. A wild one for game 3, but I am going to keep. This one has the potential to slam into Infies as soon as I find a blue source, which might even come out of this Urza Saga. And I get to do the lead on Urza Saga followed up with Ancient Tomb thing. Wasteland would have to be in their opening hand to get me here. And even getting me here, air quotes, isn't that bad because this is mostly a distraction. It's a distraction that I'm also happy if it works, which is the best kind of distraction. Dragon's Rage Channeler's in. Okay, this is too many monoliths now. I'm cool, deck. We could chill. I'm actually supposed to bring in the Shadow Spear. I just realized that. That was wonky. It's in the sideboard for Karn, but I'd rather just have it in situations like this so I can engage with the board. Yeah, that was... I have messed up at least 1 card's worth of planning here for this matchup. I probably had Shadow Spear in that pile of artifacts where I said none of these ever come in. One of them does. Whoops. I would like to fade a Wasteland here, if I can. They kept their card on top with Brainstorm, though, so it's probably Wasteland. That is the #1 card that I would be looking for in this spot. If they sculpt a longer game around Meltdown, that's another card I would keep here. Okay, Flooded Strand. Delver of Secrets. All right. This feels like a Meltdown game. I would have traded so fast if that DRC attacked. I need this construct for Metalcraft. Ooh, Opal. That was a good draw, because that's what I was going to tutor for, and now I don't have to. I could get Lotus Petaled, play around Daze here, and still make a construct. Or, can I just win now? Hold on. No, because I don't have an outlet. Even if I get there, I could present the win here. Or at least present... I get a bunch of redraws, because each of the Basalt Monoliths is a clue I can sack. Okay, I think I'm going to go for the stability here, even though every line that I have available to me plays into Meltdown. Manifold Key. Are you good? No, that doesn't play around Daze. I am just going to get a Lotus Petal. An Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal. I think I'm Monolith here. I can't melt down my Monolith, it's too big. Monolith is in. I can attack for 5 and then Thoughtcast second main. If I'm playing around Meltdown anyway, I think Thoughtcasting to at least get something out of the Lotus Petal is worth it. Okay, basic land, Monolith in play, Karn. I have the infinite. The whole combo is there in my hand. Delver is revealing maybe a card. Forces. God! Hate my life. Okay. I need to top deck a Defense Grid now. Or a backup Gadgeteer. Or hope that my opponent doesn't see the combo. Or maybe in some universe they just don't have Meltdown. That would be cool too. Delver gets 3 points through here. They would have melted down pre-combat to get the extra damage and the extra surveil. I'm at least safe from that. And they appear to be just passing. Defense Grid off the top. Let's go. Not a Defense Grid. Okay. I could tap the Monolith. Or can I bait them here? 1, 2, 3, 4, Karn, Force, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I can get possibly infinite mana here, even through Force of Will. But they kept their Brainstorm card last turn, and then also revealed this Force of Will now. This is 8 damage. I could just monolith out. These all pay for themselves. I could just make my 8 damage into 10. Nope, 12? Yeah, 12. That's how math works. And then still do everything else I wanted to do. I really want a Gadgeteer, though. That's what I actually want to happen. Okay, I'm just going to try it on the Gadgeteer. Hope they don't know what's going on. The Gadgeteer also makes this attack lethal if they don't force it, and it makes it lethal if they do force it, because now they're at 12, which I just determined is the number that I can make my artifacts. Okay, force dipped a Bowmaster. Monolith. Attack for 12, which is their life total. Brazen Borrower can keep them alive. Otherwise, we'll at least get a chump block here. Orcish Bowmaster. All right. Yeah, chump block came in one form or another. 1 to me. Just 1 block. This is 3, 4, 5. If they have a lightning bolt, I lose. Is there any 1 mana card Karn can get to change that? No. It can get Shadow Spear next turn. Okay. I'm going to pass. This was tight. That was actually a really difficult turn. I wonder if I was just supposed to play the card first, let it get forced, and then play Gadgeteer. But then I have to monolith into monolith, crack 2 clues, Bowmaster does something on that board. Youch! Okay, that sucks. Let's at least see the Surveil first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I tap Ancient Tomb, I go to 1. But I get to untap with a Basalt Monolith. What does that change? It means I have 7 mana next turn instead of 6. Alright, I will untap one of the monoliths. Oh wait, this 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. Alright. Freaked myself out for a second. Okay, I have to do this because the Opal's dying. Oh wait, is this a sorcery? God damn it. I was dead anyway. Nope, 3, 6, 7. Alright. Yeah, that just gives them delirium. Tough game, Delver's tough. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play for round 2, trying to figure out what my hand does. It is Seed of the Synod, Urza Saga, Mox Opal. This hand needs some help, but I am going to keep it. And by help, I just need 1 artifact to turn on Opal, or 1 land to cast Monolith. That's all I mean by help. And I think I am going to lead on the Saga, because that can pop into my 3rd artifact, even if I miss on getting a construct out of it. And I care less if that one's wastelanded compared to Seed of the Synod, which is like 1 1/3 mana because of Metalcraft needs. Ooh, the mirror match. Soul Guide Lantern, okay. I will not use Emery. Blindside Diamond. Oh, are we dead? They are doing something jammier than me, that's for sure. Come on, Bobble. Oh yeah, exactly, Bobble. Right in the hand. Bobble. And do I want to play Monolith or Gadgeteer? Or nothing? I have to play something. I'm going to play Gadgeteer. They are not quite dead, but I have a lot of action if I, A, get a turn, and B, Basalt Monolith resolves. This Lion's Eye Diamond has me extremely worried, though. Ancient Tomb, please just settle into Saga Gaming. Don't do anything with the LED. They have passed the turn, and Saga guarantees at least 1 extra mana here. Oh, Karn tends to be pretty good in artifact mirrors. They are playing around Pithing Needle by making a construct. That is not my plan. I'm going to get Lotus Petal, and then cast Basalt Monolith and ask if I win. Do I win? The Monolith resolved. Make 3, untap. Okay, I am working my way towards infinite mana. It just requires a lot of clicking to do. Let's see if they will concede to my Karn. Just going to show them that I have a win con. Are we chill, or do you want to? Okay, cool. All right. Good stuff. We did it. We did it at least once in the league. My opponent had Lion's Eye Diamond in their build. That could be a one-of that they just happen to draw in like a blue painter kind of shell, or it could indicate that they are some stupid combo deck. I'm going to bring in my Flusterstorms. Can probably cut Soul Guide Lantern. Staff of Domination, I'm sorry. That card shouldn't even be in the deck. I set it in the deck tech and then was like, maybe it's fine. It's not. It's in brick. I wonder how important Soul Guide Lantern versus Aether Spellbomb is. I'm going to cut Spellbomb, or they could have Hull Breacher. All right, I'm going to cut Soul Guide Lantern. Being a deck that can just shove Karn in an Artifact Mirror is nice. Okay, nobody knows what this hand does yet, but it does have a lot of mana. I'm going to keep. I can turn one Monolith, then draw a bunch of cards. Oh, we are Painter. Okay. Would have brought in my Dismembers if I was fully on that life. Extra tough beat here because I was considering Emrakul as a win condition for this deck, and she'd be really good against Painter, I gotta say. Okay, I can cast Emery. I'll do that. And I'm actually just gonna bobble. I feel like they're just gonna jam on me here. And there's not much that I have that could stop that from happening. But taking 2 draws, maybe Flusterstorms involved somehow. I don't know. I'm just passing. Make them think about Force of Will at least. I can get Metalcraft with my Seat of the Synod next turn. That's why I'm okay popping the baubles. Well, they better either win right now or protect from Karn, because I can shut them down next turn. Great Furnace. Uh-oh. Lightning Bolt. Sure. And the Repainter. The Repainting. Wait. Did they show mini blue mana last game, or did my brain just autofill and this is just regular-ass red Painter? Is that possible? Yeah, if they just played, like, Saga and some other junk, I might have played myself. Karn, plus on your Great Furnace, it's gone. Okay, they can still attack with their Painters. I do need to stabilize against that and then win somehow. I had to play Seat this game. Dang. Alright, well, they did a good job hiding their basic mountain from me. I mean, not that that matters. Karn doesn't just kill basic mountains straight up. Okay, gotta fade Grindstone, which they have not cast yet. Emery, the re-emining has begun. Emery will put a stop to these Painter Servant beats, or at least cut them in half. Versus Saga. And I am gonna put the Monolith into play. Just leave myself ready to Gadgeteer off the top. Wow, they've had enough. They just drew a bunch of lands. Okay, cool. We got to win. And it does seem like they're regular-ass red Painter, and my brain just projected onto their deck that it was a blue deck because they played so many similar cards as me. Lion's Eye Diamond, that's I'm going to point it to that. I didn't just autofill. Lion's Eye Diamond usually means Echo of Eons. It's been a long time since Painter Servant played a Lion's Eye Diamond. It happened, it's usually in blue Painter decks that you would want access to that to go really fast or set up a backup thing. Maybe they have Karns of their own. I don't know, but I'm going to give myself credit for that. I didn't just autofill. The LED tipped me off to something up. On to the next round. We got to win. Introducing Club GG, the mobile platform that lets you create your own poker clubs and play with your friends anywhere. Creating a club is easy. Just download the app, set up your club, and invite your friends. If you're looking for more competition, Club GG offers an optional subscription model, giving you the freedom to choose. Becoming a Club GG member unlocks access to compete for real prizes at a fixed monthly fee and no additional cost to play. Download Club GG now and join thousands of fellow poker enthusiasts. Use code BOSH for a free 7-day trial standard membership. Club GG, where the fun of poker meets the thrill of competition. Suitable for adults 18 and over. Visit us at clubgg.net. I'm on the draw in round 3 with a hand that's super risky. This City of Traders, if this was Ancient Tomb, I would keep this. If I can find any mana source in my first 2 draw steps, the Monolith Key gets going. I could just play City, play Key, Spellbomb, pass, and hope my deck delivers. I could even draw a card off Spellbomb if I start to waver. Though there's a good chance I simply do not play this game if I keep this hand. I'm going to mulligan. I think we can do better. Okay, this is way better. Keep and bottom. I'm going to get rid of City of Traders, actually, and keep Soul Guide Lantern, because there are a lot of decks in the format that care about their graveyards. Many of them play Polluted Delta, and many of them play Grief and Archon of Cruelty. I think I kept right here. They're likely to strip my Soul Guide, though, because that's what this ridiculous deck does. Nice to see the Archon go. Sad that I'm probably going to have to play against an Atraxa. Okay, they took Karn. They might just reanimate and take the Soul Guide, or that might just not be the plan right now. I imagine we're going to see the reanimate here. Okay, yep, there's the reanimate on Grief. But that does mean a reanimate is not taking, or is not getting Atraxa right now. Soul Guide Lantern's out of here. And Soul Guide is gone. I don't play more of those. There is a Tormod script in my Karn board, and a, more importantly, an Ensnaring Bridge. Bobble sees Force of Will. I'd like to avoid a Wasteland, if I can, as far as fair things. I'm just going to autofill. If I say I'd like to avoid Wasteland, anything I say I'm trying to avoid for the rest of this match, just assume I mean in addition to Entomb Reanimate Atraxa, because I don't want that to happen either. This deck usually does play 3 Wastelands, not 4. We have slightly better odds, but still, if they have it, they have it. They chose to shuffle. And Basic Island, potentially good news. We still have to race this Grief with Ancient Tomb as the mana source. I think that's okay. The One Ring to rule them all. Okie dokie. A Basic Island is not a card you actually want there. This is another spot where main deck, so Shadow Spear would be good. Unfortunately, because I bobbled, I couldn't keep an extra artifact in play, and Bowmaster gets a free lunch right now. That didn't happen, though. I'm going to make another one. Okay, they don't have Bowmaster, at least. I think I need Mox Opal here. Mox Opal, Seed of the Synod. Would they have sandbagged a Bowmaster? I hope not. I'm guessing Thoughtcast. And the Killing the Construct was so free. If they actually have Bowmaster here, I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. Didn't think so. Doing that pre-combat gets me an extra artifact worth of beats with this Mishra's Bauble. And I'm now winning the race. If they have Entomb, Animate Dead, Otawara still beats that? Okay. Yeah, they can't grief my Otawara. And Atraxa doesn't gain life on the way in. And Archon's already in exile. Yeah, Atraxa's in the graveyard. Reanimate puts them to 3. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's see what happens here, but I feel mostly okay in this board state. Wasteland. Ooh, Wasteland is actually good. Wasteland could do it. Shit. Okay. I didn't think about that one. Let's hope they don't think Wasteland's important and they just take some other land, but that's actually really bad. I would need to rip another Ancient Tomb for that to work. They took Wasteland. They cannot be deterred. They took Wasteland, Brainstorm, Borrower, and Whale. They went after... that one does take lethal off the board. Okay. Well, that gives me a redraw to deal with Atraxa at least. Because if my attack's not lethal anyway, I might as well fire the Bauble. Okay. I am going to Bauble in that case. Because I have to clear the Atraxa. That's non-negotiable. They're drawing another Wasteland next turn. Alright, deck. Come on. Useful mana source. Bauble and Basalt Monolith. I don't think that does it. Dang, that Wasteland was good. Yeah, none of these are legends. This costs the full 4. Can I still get through this? Not if I tap Ancient Tomb. If I tap Ancient Tomb, I just lose. And if they waste me again, I also just lose. And I know they have Force Blue card in their hand, and they untap into multiple bounce spells. All right. That was really close. It came a little short. Of course, on the draw versus Grief Scam, taking my main deck hate card, that is one of the most difficult and frustrating things about playing against this deck, is that it, like, the Magic the Gathering deal of I get to mulligan if my hand's not good for a matchup just does not matter, because you mulligan to 6 and then you're playing a game on the 4 worst cards. Or if you just keep 7 because you're going to get griefed and then your hand's bad. Extremely frustrating. Haywire Might isn't out to Animate Dead, which is half of their animates. Spellbomb is good. Shaven Opal. Shave the Staff of Domination. We're not going to talk about Staff of Domination ever again. Mystic Forge. The One Ring's actually good. The keys are good. Is Haywire Might for Animate Dead too cute? Probably. Alright. Change my mind. Off it. I am going to try it like this. And the cool thing is my deck is not really built with the graveyard in mind, so I don't even mind if they do juke onto the Dothy Voidwalker stuff. I'd actually prefer if the Reanimator stuff is not in their deck. And Defense Grid is barely good against this deck because, again, Grief. I've top 8'd 2 large paper events over the past 2 weekends with Rescaminator, and let me tell you about people who keep opening hands with Defense Grid and think they're okay. They're not. They're going to lose. I will keep this hand. Urza Saga, Opal, Petal. Just going to put them out there. If I get griefed here, I'm still going to be able to move forward with Saga. If I don't get griefed, there's a One Ring in my future. Underground Sea. Brainstorm. All right, so they have a grief. They're looking for a black card to pitch. Or they're looking for a different black card to pitch. It's very common with this deck to want to brainstorm on one. You also have the 4 trolls that can shuffle at instant speed. Brainstorm was followed up by a grief pitching Animate Dead. Surprise, surprise. At least they can't reanimate it right now. I'll take my One Ring. I will go into some Saga gaming. They could entomb or cycle a troll in their upkeep. Karn the Great Creator. Unfortunately, or I could cast this, but I cast it into Daze if I do. I think I'd rather take my chances on Urza Saga, and then I can Karn next turn with a threat on the board, or playing around Daze. Because making the construct gives me the extra mana off Mox Opal. This deck usually does play some dress downs in the sideboard. Gonna try to respect that as much as I can. Or maybe I just shove into it. It's all reasonable. Okay, so options include float mana, get Soul Guide Lantern, play Karn. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I am also fading. I'm playing around Daze and Dress Down by doing it this way. Soul Guide Lantern, exile Grief, 2, 3, 4, Karn, Force of Negation, pitching Murktide Region. Okay. In with the construct. Are we getting Dressed Down? Bowmaster doesn't quite trade with this. Petty Theft. Okay. Alright, so making the extra construct actually might have been good there if they have Petty Theft and not Dress Down. I can play Gadgeteer next turn and immediately investigate off Mox Opal. Their graveyard shenanigans are shut down until further notice. Or they just aggressively grief me, and I lose my Gadgeteer. Soul Guide Lantern exiles only opponent's graveyard, so if they reanimate my Gadgeteer, they will have a creature on the board. I'm just going to chill and draw cards. Manifold Key. I will put that into play. And I'm just going to pass. I'm not sure who's favored in this position. They have 1 card in hand. They clearly don't have a land. I have their graveyard stuff shut down. Okay, Orcish Bowmaster was the thing they had. I think I actually should draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern right now, which might seem crazy given what their deck does, but also I would like to find a banger. Okay, that made perfect sense to be the last card in their hand the way they played the previous turn. Yeah, why not? Bobble. Now I have to make the decision of, do I take the damage to try to do something while I know their hand is kind of weak, but it feeds Bowmaster to do it? And I think I do. I accept. Emery, okay. That is the type of card I was looking for. Mistress Bauble go in. Lotus Petal and Mox Opal are kind of the same thing here, but the Opal stays in play next turn. All right, I will Opal for green mana. Or green, blue, whatever the color is that this card costs. Okay, Emery. And I'm passing the turn. Petty Theft, cool. That was a good one. Maybe I was supposed to Ottawara the Bowmaster in response to that, while I still had a legend. Ooh, that's awkward. Yeah, this might be a bunch of damage I didn't need to take. Drawing for my turn, Urza Saga. I will be pretty happy with that card. Play Emery. Do the mill thing. There's my Shadow Spear. Not happy to see that one in the graveyard. Play Saga. This is a way that I can come back into this game and have a bigger creature than my opponent. I can cycle... I can untap Mox Opal with my floating mana here, and then I have blue. 1, 2, 3. I can Ottawara a Bowmaster next turn. I could do it now, but it doesn't do anything now. Or if I feel like I need to kill the Orc army and stabilize. Urza Saga giving me life here. If I can make a XX and put a Shadow Spear on it, I could quickly flip this game. They've used 2 Brazen Borrows already. They don't play that much removal in the deck. Oh, I hate this attack. They have another Bowmaster. That's the only thing that makes any sense here. Okay, I'm not going to block. If I don't draw a reliable mana source, I might have to Otawara as a land. Alright, they're playing Grief. This is a 2/2 menace on the board. It does not take the card from my hand, which I believe they already know, though I might be blurring games together at this point. Okay, I go to my turn. I'm currently winning, somehow. A Emery can target... What do I want to do here? Could get the One Ring. I could just get the Shadow Spear. Alright, I'm going to play Otawara and cast Shadow Spear from my graveyard. This is the way I can still play this game. I can put a 6/6 in front of their attack next turn. Even if they have another Bowmaster, that's only 4 damage. And then I have a giant Lifelinker clapping back. Ponder. Hate that, but not enough to Flusterstorm it. If I Flusterstorm, I don't get to make a construct, which is a necessary part of this turn. They did not shuffle the Ponder. That's scary. Attacks are coming. All they can do is attack here. I'll make the blocker and block the biggest thing. Maybe Dismember? Is that a card they would keep here? Yeah, okay. If I had blocked Orc Army, I would have been able to trade. But now I'm at 4. I think this is still okay for the most part. I don't get to equip Shadow Spear, but I can get Aether Spellbomb. Is that still in my deck? We're about to find out. I hope I didn't board that out. Yeah, that would be a weird card to board out. I did not. Okay, Aether Spellbomb is in play. Emery can cast Lotus Petal from the graveyard, or Mox Opal, but they're the same thing here. Cast this Petal. If they have Daze, I'd still be at 1. Okay. We are back to relative stability. If they have something that kills my creature, I can Flusterstorm it and just not use the Spellbomb, because I do need the creature in play. If they have another Bowmaster, which we did read they might have several turns ago, I actually need to block. Okay, I'm going to block the Orcish Bowmaster and bounce the Orc Army. This plays around a second Bowmaster with me at 1 and answers the first one. That 2, they just unlocked land number 3 that can start casting the Brazen Borrowers from exile. I'm going to cast Lotus Petal from my graveyard so I can use Flusterstorm to protect my Shadow Spear equip. Just gaining 7 here is the whole game. This is going to work or it's not. If they've been sitting on a dress down this long, I'm in trouble. Okay, we're in. I'm now connecting for 8 and gaining 8 a turn. They can attack back for 5. They're not winning the race. What a game. I can also untap my construct with Manifold Key for a surprise blocker. Okay. We did it. That was a fun one. Hey, do I want Dismembers in? Reconsider the Haywire Might. Reconsider Defense Grid. I'm still not interested in Defense Grid. Taking pressure off with Dismember is nice, but I do have pseudo black sources in Opal and Petal, so I don't always take the max from that. Maybe I can back off a Grim Monolith and get at least some interaction in here. I still have enough of these to hit with, and Karn can still wish for the 2 that are in the board. Do I want to back off a Thoughtcast against this deck too? Yeah, okay. I'm going to go just a little lighter and add some creature removal. This hand is pretty bad. I do have mana all day. This hand doesn't care much about Wasteland or Orcish Bowmaster. I can Fluster and Entomb. I think I'm going to keep this. Again, we're in that awful position this deck puts you in of, like, you mull to 6 to find a more suitable hand for the matchup, and then they grief you twice, and your hand is the worst thing imaginable. I am just going to keep and run with it. 7 playable cards. They fetched for an Underground Sea and just played a Ponder. Cool. A pretty mellow start, all things considered. I mean, they could still grief me this turn. I don't know if it's mellow yet. Ponder did not shuffle, and they didn't grief me. Just going to play my basic island and pass. Control Gaming activated. And I do have the whole combo in my hand now. I've got the Infi and the payoffs. I love a Saga. Shadow Spear? Okay. I will cast Shadow Spear. It's getting some permanents in play that'll help for future Mox Opals or Constructs. Not doing anything for an entire turn cycle with 2 mana is deeply suspicious out of this deck. Dothy Voidwalker, okay. They have made the pivot. If they grief me, take a Karn, and then cast Karn, I can never win that game, ever in my life. I'm going to play Otawara and Basalt Monolith, or what does Thoughtcast look like here? It costs everything. I'd rather get the Monolith in. Hate to see this thing get dazed, but it does set up the win next turn. Yep, daze, of course. Okay, the win is no longer set up. And they have a Basalt Monolith in the Void if they want it. Yeah, I guess Basalt Monolith into daze is kind of an awkward thing because even if they were to think that maybe this card's not that important, it certainly invalidates daze. Kind of puts them in a prison of, you have to daze this. Uh-oh, truly devastating. Let's hope they don't see the line to just kill me with Karn. They even did all of it pre-combat, which is the correct time to do it. Yep, Karn's gone. Not for long, though. Animating Grief. Cool. I thought I was dead to the Karn, but they're not even done applying pressure yet. And a Wasteland. Look at this turn they're having. What a deck. Okay, if they're wasting my Seat of the Synod, it's clearly not their intention to play Karn here, which means I still have a chance to play this game. Saga! Okay, still have a chance to Saga game. I have a creature in play, or at least on the stack. Okay, let's go. You want to Karn me? Come get it. Yeah, if they had played Karn last turn, wasted Otawara, and just not worried about the seat, then I have 2 mana instead of 3. Likely to still lose this race, but I'm just saying. Petty Thefting Gadgeteer. Okay, that's in my hand now. Lotus Petal is nice. Petal. And now I can Fluster to protect my Construct, which is also bigger. And we're just going to try to Shadow Spear game here. This is the entire plan. They can attack me for 9 next turn. I'm making a 3/3, which will be a 4/4. 5/5 if we count the Shadow Spear equip. Here's my Construct. Land is a big draw. That means I can make the other Construct, which I couldn't do if I didn't draw a land here. Because I get to get Opal, make 2 mana. If they have the Dress Down, I just lose. But I have to play like they don't have Dress Down because I can't beat it if they do. Box Opal, land for turn, equip Shadow Spear. I can Flusterstorm and Interaction Spell. But not that one. Alright, cool. Yeah, this deck, just tearing you to shreds in the early turns. I think my opponent just missed a line to KO me with my own Karn. But also, turns out they didn't need it. On to the next round. I'm sick of this shit. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. 2nd through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bazaar Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 Foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the play for round 4. Ancient Tomb, One Ring, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal. This is a big turn 2. It's not a particularly exciting... Or I can Thoughtcast turn 1. Alright, yeah, this actually is an exciting turn 1 and an exciting turn 2. Cool. Seat, Opal, Petal, Thoughtcast costs 2, spend 2 on it. Pew Pew, Mishra's Bauble. Show me your secrets. Monastery Swiftspear, oh no, what is this? This is not a card I've seen in Legacy much in the last few years. Are we playing its actual burn? Sure looks like it. Alright, folks. The league is on the line here. We gotta beat burn, if we're gonna beat anything. Thoughtcast, One Ring. I can cast the One Ring and then play Thoughtcast and just see what my hand looks like after that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. One Ring. Draw a card. Petal. Okay, so I could Thoughtcast and Emery here. I'm going to start with Thoughtcast. and then Petal, and I am going to play the Emery. Because Emery could get One Ring loops going, where I cast a One Ring every turn, and they can never deal damage to me, except at instant speed. Roiling Vortex. Okay, well, that card's pretty good against my deck full of baubles. Okay, take one from that. Draw. Can't cast this bauble. Not until I have protection from everything. Yeah, if no mana was cast, there's no mana was spent on a spell, they take 5. Got it. I won't be doing that. I could play Mystic Forge from the graveyard and try to get something going. I could just put Karn on the stack. I could Thoughtcast and then put Karn on the stack. Oh no. Nope, I'm 1 artifact short. Oh, if I play Seed of the Synod, then I can Thoughtcast and put Karn on the stack. I could also just wish for Haywire Might and try to handle this. Alright. I'm going to do that. Don't like taking all this damage. Oh, I forgot I can also tap the One Ring. Probably should have started with that. Whoops. Yeah, okay. Okay, Gadgeteer in my hand. I'm going to wish for Basalt Monolith now and just try to kill them next turn. And this Emery is on blocking duty. Goblin Guide. Monastery Swiftspear. Fire Blast. Uh-oh, am I dead? They take 5, but I don't think they're going to mind. I'm at 9. Bolt. Emery does 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I died on my ring. Shit. I'm dead to a bolt. Stop doing stuff. Gonna have a hard time tapping this Ancient Tomb, too. Yikes. Oh, no. I might have blown it. And Skewer the Critics just kills me. Well, that sucked. Career's on the line, and I might have to retire. Is there anything I can do about this One Ring? I don't think so. Block and just die. Yeah, I'm at 1. Die to my ring. Oh, I'm dead to the Vortex, too. Just dead to everything. Holy smokes. Well, that sucked. 1 turn behind, but yikes. Flusterstorm comes in. Shadow Spear comes in. I do have to be careful about managing my own life because I dealt most of the damage that game, or enough of that damage that game to lose. Fluster, Shadow Spear are in. I don't think I want to Dismember. That's not really an effective way to answer the creatures that their deck presents. Probably Shave. Well, Shave and Opal, as usual. Mystic Forge, probably too slow here. And Soul Guide Lantern doesn't matter. Wait, what just happened? Why is my deck 59 cards? I forgot something here. Oh, I cut the staff already. I can have 1 of these back. 2 tap, gain 1 life. The nuts. I guess I'll keep Opal in, even though it is legendary and softens my threat density and is bad against Roiling Vortex. It does increase how good my turn 1s can be. I will keep this hand. This is a straight to Shadow Spear race situation. Saga, Key, Bobble, Petal, and I'm just going to pass and have the biggest possible construct. I'm not even going to draw cards. Goblin Guide. Top card is Mox Opal. Okay. I don't have to tap Ancient Tomb. Good news, everybody. I am shields all the way down to Meltdown, but I'm not going to have to tap Ancient Tomb, which was my biggest fear in the world. Mountain. Drew another Saga. I'm going to make the homie and try to block. If they have Smash to Smithereens, it is what it is. But I'm not giving free damage around here. Okay. The block occurred. And going to my turn. Cool. Did not expect that to be that smooth. Making another construct. Tutoring Shadow Spear. Ancient Tomb. Equip. Willing to take risk 2 life to make this happen. If I connect here, the game is over. It's suspicious they just have 2 mana up, though. Smashing the Shadow Spear. Okay. That is the correct thing to smash. Hope they can't 13 me through a 6/6 from here. I just need 1 artifact, and they die next turn. Swift Spear. Okay. I can bash through that. Come on, some 0. Otawara. Doesn't do it. I'm going to attack with my creatures. All of them. I can untap them if I need to. I suspect they're going to block, though. Okay, we got the block. And then Forensic Gadgeteer. Get in there. And I have lethal anyway, so I am going to bobble here. And maybe I find a Flusterstorm. They've got Eidolon. That card is not helpful on this board. In my end step, they're bolting my face. 3 cards in hand plus Eidolon. If it is Bolt, Fire Blast, they have me for Xaxes. Okay, don't care. And I have a Gadgeteer win here, if I even want to take it. I can do whatever I want right now. I am going to cast the Monolith. I take 2 for it, but it also makes a lethal attack. I'm not going to reveal all my secrets just yet. Okay. Play Draw Gaming. Haywire Might does have the words Gain Life on it. I still don't think I just want it in my deck, though. Maybe I do. I think I'm going to shave an Opal for a Haywire Might. Or I could shave a Bauble. Mana's more important than card velocity here, and the Opal turns on the Haywire Might. Okay. Trying it like this. Yikes. This Ancient Tomb start is concerning. If I had a Grim Monolith, I'd be in for this. Is this a risk I want to take? No, mulligan. Okay, double Flusterstorm. Opponent's on 5. I'm going to keep and bottom one of the Ancient Tombs. Opponent went to 4. What are you doing over there? Burn decks aren't supposed to mulligan. Okay, they're on 4 cards. I've functionally gained 9 life already. Oh, wow. Simian Spirit Guide Eidolon is their plan here. Well, I was going to hold up Flusterstorm, but now I'm just going to work my way through this Urza Saga, put them with 1 card in their hand, and this 2/2 in play that I don't need to trigger if I don't want to. Okay, I think playing the city is worth doing, saving the damage, getting the game online here. 3 mountains, just flooding out after mulling to 4. I'll take it. I'm at 16. Hopefully that's the last damage this Eidolon is going to do to me this game. Get the Shadow Spear, which I can protect with Flusterstorm. I'm not going to just jam Ancient Tomb into this potential Smash to Smithereens. Next turn, I'm willing to tap Ancient Tomb. Okay, yeah, they're just done. Okay, that mull to 4 was a blessing. That actually found really hard as we were playing through it. Haven't seen Burn in Legacy in a long time. I don't think this deck has ever been worse, and not trying to rag on my opponent for choosing it, just in general. It used to be reasonable to select Burn if you were new to Legacy or had a local event or something where you just needed something cheap and easy to play. I don't recommend picking up Burn even under those conditions these days. It's tough out there. On to the final round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw in the final round, positive record on the line. I do have a turn 1 Basalt Monolith plus Key, if I'm willing to let my draw steps and baubles guide if this does anything. I'm going to try it. I have 8 baubles and a bunch of thought casts in the deck and a pretty high density of hits. Just going to run it, see what happens. There we go. Immediately rewarded with a thought cast. And because it worked out this time, that means I was right every time. That's how critical thinking works. Basalt Monolith. Playing around Daze. Manifold Key. Get in there. They might force this if they've been sitting on a force, or they could save it for whatever's in my hand to pay out, which I currently don't know the answer to. Okay, I'm going to play Bauble, and I'm actually going to use Manifold Key to untap Mox Opal and cast Thoughtcast. Could have done Seed of the Synod. Samesies. Thoughtcast. Either Spellbomb. All right, here we go. That wasn't so bad. I'm going to be up 3 cards. Well, not up, but, you know, filter or find 3 additional cards here, plus Urza Saga. Ooh, a Polluted Delta deck with Once Upon a Time. What are we playing against? I'm intrigued. Well, they don't actually have Once Upon a Time. They just shuffled it away. Is this going to be the black-green Reanimator deck? Not with Volcanic Island. What is going on over there? Oh, is this Living End? That would make sense. If it's the Bloodbraid Marauder Living End deck. In which case, I'm bummed that I have Aether Spellbomb and wish that was Soul Guide Lantern. But I have a route to that as well here. Oh. Okay. Urza Saga. And I'm going to untap the Basalt Monolith. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mystic Forge. Here we go. First appearance of this one, it is a 1 of. I determined it was the worst of the 3 bangers. Karn is a 4 of, Ring's a 3 of, and then this is a 1 of. They do have Force of Will in their deck, it turns out. Bobble, show me more cards that you play. Show me the Bloodbrain Marauder. We know it's there. Troll of Khazad-dûm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Living End. And cycling the Troll. Found an Underground Sea. They currently have 3 card types in the graveyard. Bobble found Emery. There's the Sea. This could be some 4-color scam deck of some variety. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen it, but just thinking about things that literally could be true. They're looking at the top 3 cards. Yeah, look at your top 3, put 1 in your hand and the rest in your graveyard. That is strategic planning. Living End, Animate Dead, confirmed. Okay. I've drawn a second Emery, which is kind of cool. I'm going to play the first one. I can use Basalt Monolith to activate Saga. This is not a big deal. All right, I missed on that. I'm just thinking, if they cast a Living End, do I want to spam Emerys and just have creatures in my graveyard? I can at least have an Emery in my graveyard if I cast Emery right now. But then it costs me a Lotus Petal to... Yeah, I'm going to play the second Emery. I'd love to mill over a Gadgeteer. Yeah, we milled a Gadgeteer. Now if they Living End, I just have infinite mana. Cycling Straight Wraith. Taiga. It hadn't occurred to me that if you have 2 Gadgeteers, Basalt Monolith costs 1 to untap. Which generally doesn't matter, because infinite times 2 is still infinite. But it might matter if this board gets tight. And they have to Living End now if they're going to do it, because I'm going to tutor... Or Soul Guide Lantern's in my graveyard. I milled it over. But they can see it face up. Which means if you're going to Living End, you have to do it before this Emery casts Soul Guide Lantern next turn, or you have to kill Emery. Those are your choices. Okay, they are choosing to bounce Emery. She's out of here. And they are going to Bloodbraid Maraud me into infinite mana. I'm not saying it's wrong, because if their deck doesn't have a backup plan, they can just hope that I whiff. Emery triggers again. Mystic Forge is already in my graveyard. That is a potential payout for my infinite mana. And now in the end step, I'm going to untap Grim Monolith using Lotus Petal, because it just costs 1. Untap this. Make a creature. I might want this Aether Spell Bomb still. I'm just going to go to my turn. Okay, 1 ring, just more gas in the tank here. Activate Saga. Is there anything left with a redraw right now? Oh, can I go infinite? And like, can I get a lethal attack through with a construct? I can make it an 8/8. I can make it unblockable. 9/9, 10/10. There's a good chance. All right, Manifold Key gives me multiple untaps on the Mystic Forge I'm going to cast from my graveyard. Okay, I have infinite mana, and I'm going to mess around with the Mystic Forge off Emery. Okay, Emery target Mystic Forge. Still have 1 ring in my hand. I can do all sorts of stuff. Forge. Oh, right. I forgot about double Gadgeteer. I'm easily going to have an unblockable construct here. Yeah, GG. Cool. Nice. Turns out playing the second Emery was actually huge. Flusterstorm is good here. And I think I still want the Tormod script in the Karn board. Being able to slam Karn without any mana floating and grab Tormod script is big. I think that's all I'm going to do here. Shadow Spear could erase what they're doing. Shaven Opal and the horrendous Staff of Domination. Is there another cut that I'm happy cutting here to get Shadow Spear in the deck? Aether Spellbomb's not huge, but we did see an Animate Dead juke, or at least an Animate Dead side plan. I don't want to just die to a Troll of Khazad-dûm if I can avoid it. I'm just going to do the Flusterstorms. It is not my plan to race them in combat. It's my plan to go way over the top or shut them down outright. Soul Guide Lantern in the opener. This is a Grief deck, but I am going to cross my fingers because this hand is great. Turn 1 Graveyard Hate off of Saga, and then we start activating Saga. Deal. Once Upon a Time from the opponent. Don't grief me. Fingers crossed. Luda Delta, Straight Wraith again. Okay, I'm going to play Saga, and I am going to play Lotus Petal because we've seen Daze in their deck, and hope I don't get Force of Willed. Cool. Let me take that Straight Wraith out of there. Fetching in response. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern has resolved, which takes some immediate pressure off. If they force a Vigor right now, targeting Soul Guide Lantern and Urza Saga, that does set me back a lot without a whole lot of loss to them. If they pivot onto like Foundation Breakers and stuff, those are really good. Collector Oof. Yeah, Collector Oof. All right, shit. Well, gonna have to beat this opponent with Urza Saga, which is fine. I do have an Ancient Tomb. And I think having more artifacts in play for bigger constructs is more important than having Soul Guide Lantern exiling a single Street Wraith from their graveyard. Okay, keep them coming. What's the next layer of beats? This deck can't really play Meltdown unless they board out of the combo entirely into this other thing. Incubation. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal a creature from among them, put it into your hand. Troll of Khazad-dûm. I didn't bring in my dismembers. I do have Otawara and basic lands that can remove a Collector Oof. I also just have a hand that functions in spite of that card for the most part. I'm just going all the way in here. If they have Dress Down or something, then good job. You win. I'm going to get either Spellbomb, Backup Saga, Lotus Petal, and attack for 6. I've been in the spot my opponent's in many times where it's like, I have the Potent Hate card. Why am I still just dying? And that is the power of Urza Saga. There's plenty of things they could have to just completely flip this on me, and then the Oof will be a hard lock. But right now they are in trouble. They just trolled for a Badlands. There's the Badlands. If they Living End to flip the board, it kills the Oof, which unlocks all of my artifacts. 4 in the pool. Hardcast Grief. I do not care about that at all. It's a pretty good blocker, I guess. Like, you chump block, and then you're pretty happy to flip it back off of Living End. And there's not even a window where they can block with Oof and then Living End me. All right, yeah, I'm just going to make every one of these creatures lethal. They're going to have to block with both of these to still be alive unless they have Force of Vigor. And then I'm going to have Soul Guide Lantern up because their Oof is gone. Neat. Do I play out the Emery here? I don't think so. I'm just going to let it ride. I am going to bobble them, though. I have Flusterstorms I could draw. Troll of Khazad-dûm is going to be their draw here. 1 ring is mine. And I will Soul Guide Lantern in response to an Oof here. Their graveyard is scary enough that I care about that now, which I didn't care about earlier. With this Troll in their hand, they can actually cascade into Living End. I bomb in response, then they cycle Troll, and they do end up with a 6/5. Whale of Forgotten. Wow, they're 1 permanent short. That sucks. I've never seen this card go full whale mode. At least not in Legacy. Probably happens in Standard. They put 2 Once Upon a Times in the graveyard. And we did it! A positive record! We won more matches than we lost with Forensic Gadgeteer in Legacy. This came up a couple times, and I think the building the Manifold Key Basalt Monolith version, like that last match that we just played, I kept the hand on the strength of, I'm going to untap with 7 mana, and we'll see what happens. And it turned out to be great. The Forensic Gadgeteer itself also helped make a construct lethal just by pumping out extra artifacts every turn, or every spell. That was cool. And Karn, the great creator, of course, still as effed as ever. Very good on its own, very good at stabilizing a board, very good at taking over a stable game state, and if you happen to have infinite mana, you just win. Staff of Domination was a shitter. That should not have been in the deck. That was a wasted slot. My mistake. As far as balancing the interaction, I wonder if we want to main deck some Brazen Borrowers or something. Just something that interacts with a permanent would be cool. I don't know exactly what that is. There's a bunch of options, but Otawara is doing a lot of work here, and I would like to help Otawara out with just one other useful spell. But honestly, I think other than the Staff of Domination, this was a pretty good execution of the idea from just a first draft. And as far as fiddling your numbers, like, do you want more forges than rings? Do you want just 4 rings? Do you want this or that? I will let the viewer decide. For me, I am done. This was a lot of fun to build and a lot of fun to play. 93, thank you for the challenge. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.